Racist waitress refuses to serve black woman. Unaware that her son owns the restaurant, Angela Harris stepped into the upscale restaurant, her heels clicking against the polished hardwood floor. The ambient hum of soft lighting, clinking glasses, and quiet conversation created a welcoming atmosphere. She smiled, taking it all in. This was her son Chris's pride and joy, the result of years of hard work. Chris had invited her for dinner, promising to join her later after finishing up in the kitchen. True to his humble nature, he rarely announced himself as the owner, preferring to observe from the background. Tonight was supposed to be a celebration, both of her milestone and his success. As she approached the hostess stand, she was warmly greeted. "Table for one?" "Yes, but I'll be meeting someone later," Angela replied. The hostess led her to a window-side table, where she admired the city lights. Moments later, a waitress approached, a woman in her mid-30s with a sharp expression and stiff posture. She lacked the warmth of the rest of the staff. "Water?" the waitress asked curtly, without making eye contact. "Yes, please," Angela said, offering a polite smile. The waitress returned, setting the glass down with a loud clunk. Angela hesitated, slightly put off by the abruptness, but dismissed the moment and focused on the menu. "I'll start with the house salad and then have the grilled salmon," she said. The waitress scribbled the order down and walked away without another word. Angela's frown deepened as she noticed the waitress greeting another table with a bright smile and lively conversation. She sighed, determined not to let it dampen her evening. 20 minutes passed, and Angela's salad was long gone. Her main course had yet to arrive. Across the room, she watched other tables being served. Diners who had arrived well after her were already enjoying their meals. A young couple received their entrees, delivered by a cheerful server who lingered to chat and refill their glasses. Angela's stomach tightened as she spotted her waitress leaning casually against a counter, laughing at a joke made by another diner. "Enough." She raised a hand to catch the waitress's attention. The woman hesitated, rolled her eyes, and finally sauntered over. "Yes?" she asked. Her tone clipped. Angela kept her voice polite but firm. "I've been waiting for my entree for quite some time now. Could you check on it, please?" The waitress shrugged, indifferent. "The kitchen's busy. It'll be out when it's ready." Angela's patience thinned, but she remained composed. "I understand the kitchen can be busy, but I've noticed other tables that arrived after me have already been served." The waitress smirked. "Maybe they didn't order something complicated. Salmon takes a while. You know." Angela's gaze didn't waver. "I'm fairly certain salmon doesn't take 30 minutes to prepare." With an exaggerated sigh, the waitress turned on her heel. "Fine, I'll check." Angela watched her walk away, frustration mounting. She wasn't just receiving poor service, she was being deliberately ignored. Another 10 minutes passed before the waitress returned. "Well?" Angela asked, her patience wearing thin. The waitress crossed her arms. "Still not ready." Angela leaned forward slightly. "And can you explain why tables that ordered after me have already been served?" The waitress let out a harsh laugh. "Maybe they don't sit here nitpicking every little thing." Angela took a steadying breath. "I think your job involves providing the same level of service to all customers." The waitress scoffed. "Look, I'll tell the kitchen you're upset, but it's not like that's going to speed things up." Angela's grip on her napkin tightened. "Perhaps you should consider how your attitude reflects on this establishment." The waitress rolled her eyes. "You people always want to act like the world owes you something." Angela froze. "Excuse me?" The waitress leaned in slightly. "You heard me. Some of us work hard for what we have. Others just expect it handed to them." Angela inhaled sharply. "I'd like to speak to the manager." The waitress laughed mockingly. "Of course, you would. People like you are always so quick to complain." Angela's jaw tightened. "And what exactly do you mean by people like me?" The waitress tilted her head, smirking. "You know exactly what I mean." Before Angela could respond, a sharp voice cut through the air. "What's going on here?" Angela turned, her heart lifting slightly as she saw her son standing behind the waitress, his arms crossed and his expression unreadable. The waitress spun around, paling. Uh, Nothing. Just a misunderstanding. Chris's gaze flicked between them. I'd like to hear it from the customer. Angela met his eyes and spoke calmly. It seems the waitress forgot to put in my order and then decided to compensate by making it personal. Chris's jaw tightened. He turned to the waitress. My office. Now. The waitress stammered. But Chris didn't wait for an argument. Angela followed as Chris led the waitress to the back. Inside, Chris leaned against his desk, arms crossed. Let's hear it. The waitress shifted uncomfortably. Look, this is a misunderstanding. She got upset because her food was taking a while. Chris's expression remained hard. That's not what I heard. Angela spoke evenly. Forgetting my order was a mistake. Your comments about people like me were not. The waitress's face flushed. I didn't mean it like that. Chris's tone was ice. Then explain exactly what you meant. I don't know, she stammered. It just came out. Chris stepped forward. No one accidentally says those things. You didn't just forget an order. You made a choice to treat my mother like she wasn't worth your time. The waitress paled. Wait, your mother? Chris straightened. Yes, but it shouldn't matter whether she's my mother or a first-time customer. Everyone deserves respect. Angela's gaze was steady. And if you can't acknowledge that, then you don't belong here. Chris nodded. This isn't the first complaint I've had about your attitude. But tonight was the last straw. You're done here. The waitress's jaw dropped. You're firing me? Chris's tone was final. I'm letting you go because you don't share this restaurant's values. The waitress hesitated, looking around for support. But the silence was deafening. Angela stood. This isn't just about my dinner. It's about what kind of place this is going to be. Chris turned back to the waitress. Clean out your locker. You're done. She stormed out without another word. Chris exhaled, turning to his mother. I'm so sorry. Angela smiled. You handled it well. This isn't just about food, it's about values. And tonight, you showed exactly what those are. Chris nodded. And I'll make sure everyone knows that respect isn't optional here. Angela reached for her son's hand. Then I'd say tonight was a success.